Well, the good news is we won, right? Like it's a Victory Monday, but it's weird because it doesn't feel like one in a way. If you get what I'm saying, like we won, right? We're 1-1. We're a little bit closer to being on top of the AFC North, which we should be, but something just felt off, man, about yesterday's win. Like you can't have your defense putting up more points than your offense. I don't think that is a formula for success in the modern day NFL, right? Who's to blame? Is it the OC? Is it Tomlin? Is it the quarterback? That's why we're here. We're going to discuss it. And yesterday, I put it all on Canada. I was fed up. You heard my takes. You heard my tweets. You saw them. I was ready to fire Canada. I was putting it all on him last night. But after I rewatched the game this morning, I do think it is a little bit more nuanced than that. And that's why we're here today on the Big Deke post game report or the Monday morning reaction, whatever you want to call today's stream that we're doing, talking some Steelers ball. But before we get into those details, let's get some shout outs from the chat, man. Who's all in here? I'm seeing a lot of Fire Canada. People are also fed up. That's how I was feeling last night. And I'm not saying I don't feel that way today. I just don't think it's all on Canada. And what I'm talking about is the offense's ineptitude. But we'll get into it. Who's all here, man? We got Chowder Ryan. He's been tuning in to these last few Bleacher Report streams. Thanks, man. He says he's had enough with Canada. Ron Cito 11 says the answer is yes, fire Canada. Everyone's just saying yes right now. Mylan Smith, Mooseman Jack 12, Pittsburgh 2VA says should have gotten Frank Reich. So here's the problem. He brings up Frank Reich. A bunch of really good OCs that you may think the Steelers could hire are probably head coaches. Like I was watching the Sunday Night Football game with the Miami Dolphins and seeing just how the Dolphins were running things, all the motion, the exotic play. It was crazy. I'm like, why can't we do this? Why can't we get a Mike McDaniels? Then I just thought Mike McDaniels is really good at his job at being an offensive coordinator. So that's why he became a head coach. So like the really good offensive coordinators, they become head coaches for the most part and aren't available. Now, there are some outliers, obviously, but it's tough. I mean, you got to shell out a lot of money, and that's something the Steelers haven't really done with our position coaches, or at least the coordinators, I mean. We got Hooligan Zin saying Canada is ruining the development of Pickett. Jorge Chavaria says this is terrible for my mental health. Logan Gardner says same plays over and over again. Yeah, okay. We're definitely going to be talking Canada today for sure. That's all you guys are saying in the chat right now. We'll get to them. Trust me. We got Cal Monier in the house. Yeah, it's all fire Canada, bye Canada. Okay, let's talk about it then. Let's talk about it. Although give me like 5 minutes. We'll get to him in like 5 minutes. We'll start with the offense. Let's just go over the offense as a whole. And then we'll talk defense, and then I just got some additional notes to close us out. Let's start with the quarterback before we go to Matt Canada, because with Kenny, I didn't think he played bad. I saw a lot of negative reaction for Pickett's play all over Twitter, and I was even hearing some of it in the stadium too. Looking back, I don't think he played bad. Like, dude is not going to go out there and complete every pass. Like, are we holding Pickett to this standard where he's going to be throwing 95 to 96, 97% completion rating every time he's out there? Was he above reproach, though? No. The pick was bad at the beginning of the game. That game gave the Browns free points. Also, almost threw another pick later in the game, but that was just due to poor decision making right there. Like, you just got to make sure you get that ball out of bounds as a throwaway. It looked like he was just getting too cute with it and throwing it in between inbounds and out of bounds. Like it was half throwaway. Like you just got to get that ball completely out of bounds. Don't give it any chance to get intercepted. And he did. He did. I don't know what that was. It looked like he was trying to throw it away. No, but it was a terrible job at throwing it away. So yeah, he missed some. Like I mentioned, the pick, the almost pick, had some other misses throughout the game. But you know who else missed a ton of throws? Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson played way worse than Kenny Pickett. So I'm not trying to sit here and cope or like make excuses or say that to try to feel good about myself, but I don't think Pickett played that bad yesterday. And another reason why I think that is because the offensive line was not doing him any favors. I don't think they protected him good enough. And the O-line in general wasn't good in the pass game and also in the running game. I don't think they were opening up enough running lanes for Najee Harris and Jalen Warren either. So I don't know what's going on there. Like that needs fixed in a hurry. We shelled out all this money for these dudes, and it feels like we're going backwards. The offensive line improved tremendously from my standpoint at the end of last year. Now this year, it looks like we're resorting back to like the 2021 offensive line. So that needs fixed. Now, I guess you give the Browns some credit, right? They do have Myles Garrett. They do have Zadarius Smith. It's just I didn't think it was going to look like that on Monday night. So from my standpoint, again, I don't think Pickett played his best. I don't think he played bad, though. I mean, George Pickens even dropped like a couple passes, and I'm not going to rail on him too hard because Pickens was awesome yesterday. But he missed a couple like tight window throws that Pickett made to him. And I feel like a franchise receiver or wide receiver one should come down with those type of passes. But again, I think Pickens is like the last of our problems or last of our issues to discuss today. And he didn't play bad. So what it comes down to for me, whenever I was looking at the offense and like why we were stalling, why we weren't getting more points up on the board, it was either we were consistently losing yards on run plays or just design plays around the line of scrimmage. So whether it's a run play or a screen pass or a jet sweep, and that would get us off schedule, and then we'd be in like a second and long or like a third and long, or it was the O-line giving up pressure, and Kenny would have to either throw the ball away or get sacked. And then, or it was just Kenny missing some throws. But I don't think there were that many because some of his incompletions or a decent portion of his incompletions, I think were just throwaways. Like he had to get the ball out because he was getting pressured so quickly. But that leaves us to where do we point to, right? Where are we at right now? If those were the issues with the offense, I mean, Matt Canada, because a portion of what I just talked about was play calls, like run, too many plays at the line of scrimmage, too much of an uninspiring offense. Like, you know what I mean? Like the play calls, it didn't feel. It just felt more of the same. It just felt more of the same. No, a lot of it's on the players. Some of it's on the players, at least. But we just can't be doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And I thought things were going to be different this year, man. I really did. I really did because we saw in the preseason our offense looked really explosive. And now looking back on it, was I foolish for getting too hopeful from preseason highlights and preseason tape? Maybe, but there was so much reason for optimism because of how we were winning games at the end of last year. We had a lot of momentum, good free agency, good training camp by all reports from the offense. And then we get the preseason 5 for 5 on the first team offensive series, five series out there, 5 touchdowns. And then to get this week 1, week 2, like I want to point it all on Canada right now. I really do. I want to put it all on him. Like I do think he's not helping. I think he's part of the problem, but it's not all on him. But I feel hopeless. You get what I'm saying? I feel hopeless right now. Like, where do we go? Because I think you stick with Kenny, obviously. You can't get new offensive linemen like that in a snap of a finger. we got good young weapons as a whole with Darnell Washington, with Pat Fryermuth, with George Pickens. Unfortunately, Deontay's hurt, but we got guys, Calvin Austin. So, like, I don't think we need switches there. It's just we've been doing the same thing, it feels like, over the last 3 years. Matt Canada has been the constant with this offense, and about 75 to 80% of his tenure has been subpar, to say the least. He was here with a Hall of Famer, Big Ben. And to be honest with you, outside of Big Ben rallying the troops in the fourth quarter in all those games in 2021 when we were down, Matt Canada's resume probably looks even worse because those first 3 quarters, whenever it was Canada and Big Ben, I don't know what we were doing. We'd be down, and then all of a sudden it felt like Ben would start running the offense in the fourth quarter, and what do you know? We win games. And then we turned it over last year at quarterback, Mitch Trubisky, and yeah, we weren't good as an offense first half of the year. We get to Kenny, bye week. Obviously, we started to see things improve, right? And my thing was we weren't putting up gaudy numbers. We weren't putting up big fantasy stats or anything like that, but we were winning games. We had our identity. We were running the football. So I don't know if that's a part of our issue too. Like, it's early. That's the other thing. It's early. It's after week 1 and week 2. Like, that's the other part of it. I do think we need to try to find our identity as an offense. I don't think we can go completely back to last year and just focus on running the ball and trying to keep things more limited for Kenny and just expect him to come through with a game-winning drive in the fourth quarter and whatnot. No, we need to be more balanced. We need to have a better passing attack, but things just don't feel right. And the guy that's been consistent with this offense these last 3 years and underwhelming performances for the most part is Matt Canada. So I don't know what to do, man. I don't think anything is going to change. Like, we're not going to fire Matt Canada today, right? We're not going to. Would I be opposed to it at this point? No. But again, when you really look at it, it wasn't all on him. The players still got to perform out there. I talked about the offensive line. And he threw a pick. Like, that wasn't a good interception, obviously. I just don't know where to go. I feel lost. Going back to my intro, we won, but then it's like, where do we go from here? Because having your defense score more points than your offense is not sustainable for victories, right? And I do expect the offense to be better than what it was yesterday because it is early. We should be finding our groove as time goes on, right? But I don't know if Canada's the guy to lead us to that promised land, to get us to our fullest potential as an offense with all this young talent. I'm seriously questioning that at this point. Seriously questioning that. And if I wasn't questioning it enough before, I'm there now, man. I'm there now. What are you guys saying in the chat? Steeltown Fanboy says the excuse not to fire Canada was we'll never be able to learn a new system, and Kenny is comfortable. Yeah, that's the tough part because we are in week 2. It would feel like a reset or very much a knee-jerk reaction to just cut ties right now after 2 games and have Kenny being in year 2 have this complete reset, new coordinator in here. That would be tough. That would be tough because the crazy part about it is we got the Raiders next week who look terrible against the Bills. And then we also got the Texans in week 4. We'll be sitting here 3-1. But the thing is, and this is what you guys have complained about a lot. This is what 85 to 90% of Steeler Nation has complained about during the Canada tenure, specifically last year. Like, my thing was we're winning games. Offense has an identity. We're running the ball. But you guys were like, we need to score more points, though. Like, I don't think this offense is going to hit its peak doing it this way, right? And I felt like we were going to adjust. We were going to get some new things. with Kenny going into his second year, but it feels the same in a way, man. It feels predictable. It feels uninspiring. And going back to the offensive line, part of that is on Canada to get some help for Kenny, man, to get some help with those O linemen, chip those edge rushers, chip the guys that are getting pressure. You know what I mean? I feel lost. I feel lost right now. We got Dub D37 says, yes, move on from Canada. It's like a 12-year-old playing Madden and button smashing the play selection screen. D Foreman 12 says Todd Haley. EJ Green 89 says cut ties and see if it's more Canada or Kenny. That's a good point. Like if you cut ties with Canada, then I think the grading on Kenny gets harsher and harsher, if you know what I mean. Marty Nance says Pickett arm strength is not that. I don't know. I saw him make a lot of good throws yesterday. Rico Johnson says move on from Levi Wallace too. We'll talk about him. We'll talk defense. Chris W. Steeler says standard offense is standard. WHW2 brings up what about Mark Whipple? Yeah, that was Kenny's offensive coordinator at Pitt. SFan16 says only reason Ben was successful because he refused to listen to Canada. Yeah. Oh, here's a good point. I forgot to mention this with my whole offense spiel. Yeah, Najee Harris versus Jaylen Warren. Am I wrong? Like, Jaylen Warren should be the guy at this point. It feels like a night and day difference when he's handed off the ball and Najee Harris is handed off the ball. Jaylen Warren jumps off the screen. Whereas Najee, it feels slow moving. It feels like you got the game in half speed. Yeah, big shout out to Jaylen Warren. He was making plays out of nothing, and that's what he always does. 3rd and long, Kenny dumps it off to him. He's getting first downs or almost getting first downs, giving his best effort, making dudes drop all over him. Yeah, he was really good. I think if it isn't already 50-50, which I think it is, I think Jaylen Warren was getting a good amount of snaps yesterday. It almost felt like he was getting more snaps than Najee Harris. But yeah, we might need to start leaning that way. Because it feels like whenever Jaylen Warren's out there, we just do better things. Either running the ball or in the passing game with dump offs and whatnot to the running back. Najee did have that one nice run where the O-line gave him nothing. It was supposed to be like a 3-yard loss. He made it like a 15-yard gain. So that was nice. But outside of that, it just feels like Jaylen Warren's the better running back. He just moves better out there. He's faster, jumps off the screen. But let me get to the defense, and I'll read some more chats, and then we'll sign off, man. It's weird. It's a weird day because it is a Victory Monday, but feel a little hopeless, at least with the offense, because we got to give the defense a lot of credit yesterday. They literally put up 14 points on the board, whereas the offense only had, 12 total? Yeah, because we had 26. Defense had 14 of those points because of TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith. Highsmith with the pick six. Highsmith with the strip sack. I think I called that, right? Didn't I call a Highsmith or TJ Watt strip sack? Highsmith with the strip sack. TJ Watt picked it up, got a touchdown. So shout out to those two guys. They continue to ball out against the Browns. Anytime we line up against the Cleveland Browns, you can almost guarantee Highsmith or TJ Watt are going to put on some type of highlight reel performance. And TJ Watt, too, shout out to him becoming the Steelers' all-time sack leader last night. That's no small feat. And he's done it in a really quick time. He's only, like 26, 27? So he might double that by career's end. Shout out to him. It's like 81.5. I think that's where he is, right? But also, aside from TJ and Highsmith, I think the pass rush in general was really good. And not only the edge guys, because we talked Watt, we talked Highsmith. You got to throw Marcus Golden in there too. He got a sack. But the interior guys, I'm talking the Marvin Leal, Larry Ogunjobi, Keanu Benton was winning out there at times. Even Montravius Adams, he wasn't coming off his best performance from week 1, but I was seeing him show some flash. I was seeing him get in the mix and make things uncomfortable for Deshaun Watson. So our pass rush as a whole was good on defense. Really like that. That helped the secondary for sure because the secondary looked good. I know there were times you guys are bringing up like Levi Wallace and whatnot. There were times Amari Cooper made some plays, but that is Amari Cooper. I thought as a whole, the coverage was solid. Like they probably had, the Browns had between 2 or 3 like good catches, 10, 15 plus yards, but it was good coverage on our part. Like there was nothing else we could have done better. It was just good throw by Watson, good catch by the receiver, and you just kind of give them credit and you move on to the next play. So as a whole, I think our secondary was good, but I think the pass rush and the secondary did play off each other in that way. The thing that it's got me a little concerned here is the rush defense. What is going on there? I know we're missing Cam Hayward, but it shouldn't be this bad. We shouldn't be seeing Christian McCaffrey and that 49ers offense and their running game go off on us like they did last week and then have a repeat performance in week 2. Now, we could sit back and say, listen, the 49ers run game and the Browns run game are probably top 5 in the league. They got good O-lines. They got good running backs, et cetera, et cetera. So maybe you do give some credit there, but I would like to see a little bit better in that department. No, like we can't be giving up that many yards on the ground. And it would be different if Chubb was in the whole game because Chubb did look good right out the gate. And unfortunate injury for him, like prayers that he could get healthy because that was nasty, man. That was nasty. No one likes to see that happen. But Jerome Ford was going off on us. He got what, the 60 or 70-yard run. And you know what? I was just thinking this. I could see why you guys are bringing up Levi Wallace because I didn't think his coverage was bad. That's what happened. Like he missed that tackle on that run play, and it was almost identical to the Christian McCaffrey one where McCaffrey went for 65 yards. So that's an issue. Now he is a cornerback. He isn't expected to be the best tackler of all time, but this wasn't an issue for him last year. We never talked about Levi Wallace's tackling or our cornerbacks in general's tackling last year. So yeah, that is a little disheartening. But our run defense as a whole, we got to pick this up, man. Like, because even though we're missing Cam Hayward, this isn't going to be a formula for success. Far from it. Because we got the Raiders next week going up against Josh Jacobs. Texans, we'll be fine against the Texans. I don't expect them going off for over 100 on the ground against us. They do got Dameon Pierce, but I don't think the Texans are that good of a team. We should be able to hopefully get up on them early. Hopefully our offense comes out the gates and we could just tee off on them and, get some sacks on Stroud, maybe get a pick or two or whatnot. But that's 2 weeks away. Defense as a whole played good. I mean, I don't think we can say enough good things about the defense. Outside of the run defense, like that's our only issue. That's wait, I'm seeing Steele all in. Patrick Peter, he's saying Patrick Peterson's what was wrong with Pat P yesterday? I think he gave up 1 catch, didn't he? He gave up 1 catch. He was called for the pass interference on the other. Pat P was getting cut. Was it like that? I thought Pat P was fine. Am I missing something here? No, I thought Pat P was good. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over my additional notes here. Literally, I only have 1 name, and then I'll read off some more chats, and then we'll sign off. My additional notes is, what is up with Gunner? Now, he got a concussion, but while he was out there, before he had to leave with the concussion, he catches the kickoff as it was going out of bounds. We would have got the ball at the 40. And then Kenny throws just a little screen pass to him, and I don't think it was the best of play calls, but he throws a little screen pass to Gunner and fumbles it and just basically gives it right to the Browns, and they have amazing field position. They're in the red zone. Is it a week 2 thing with him? He was doing this last year, week 2 against the Patriots. Muff the punt. Now we get this? I don't know. I guess if there is one guy that needs to go, if we don't want to make any crazy drastic moves like firing Canada right now, I guess Gunner could be a guy if you want to point fingers and find someone to be the scapegoat. Like, man, it just didn't even make sense. Didn't even make sense at all. I don't know why he tried to catch that kickoff. No clue. He catches it and we get it at the 10. If he just lets it go out of bounds, we get it at the 40. Make that make sense. And then the fumble was just terrible. You got to have better ball security. But overall, a win's a win. A win's a win, man. But going forward, I do have concerns about the offense. Now, could certain players have done better on the offensive side? Yeah, we went over this. But the one constant and the one thing related to a lot of these lackluster performances on the offensive side of the ball over these last like 2-3 years is Matt Canada, man. I know you got a lot of you guys were bringing up the stats throughout the week. Like we haven't had over 400 yards as an offense over the last 3 years, whereas at least every other team in the league has done that 3 times. Now, I don't think that's the end all be all. I'd rather win games than just put up stats on offense. You know what I mean? But something's got to give, man. Something's got to give. Wasn't all on Canada yesterday, but it doesn't feel like he's helping us to the degree that we need it. But we got the win. And I actually feel like we're going to win next week, and then we're going to win the following week, and we're going to be 3-1. And so hopefully offense gets to that level where we could be sitting at 3-1 and we could feel good about it and say, okay, we are a good team. We have a good record, but we're going to continue that trend throughout the rest of the season, as opposed to we're just winning off defense and we're winning like 14-10 type of games. And you're just like, how are we going to compete with some of the offenses that are more high octane? You know what I mean? The good thing is we are 1-1. We got that must needed win yesterday. Very much so. Very much so. Chowder Ryan says wins over stats. Absolutely. Tyler No says y'all crazy about Levi. Nowhere near as bad as y'all making it seem. Just needs to be better in the run. Yeah, that's basically what I just said right there. I thought he was fine in coverage yesterday. It's just those two mistakes in the run game really cost us these last 2 weeks with him. Those 2 missed tackles. What is this? Chris Dubs Steelers. Check the Steeler quarterback graphic of throws recently, Deke. All right, I'll check that. Tag me on Twitter or something. I'll check it out. Monster May says, let's talk about Kenny still looking bad. Looks like a deer in the headlights at times. If he has another game like this, they might as well put Mitch in. I didn't think Kenny was bad, man. I really didn't. I think he had a few bad plays, yeah. But as a whole, no, I didn't think he was particularly bad yesterday. I thought he was fine. I thought he looked worse in the 49ers game. We'll put it that way. Captain Louis says Munchak would help our offense tremendously. We need him back as an O-line coach. That's the weird part. I don't know why the offensive line is regressing right now. No clue. Yeah, Chowder Ryan asked, do you think he improved from last week? I do. Yeah. I think Kenny looked better from last week. He still needs to get better. I said he's not above reproach, but as a whole, I think people are making it seem like he had the worst game of all time last night. Watson played way worse. Watson was missing throws all over the place. All over the place. And they paid that dude, $45 million per year. Guaranteed money. What was it? 230 overall guaranteed. I think it was just a mix of a bunch of things. So if you want to have patience and say, okay, Pickett's going to continue to get better here. Canada and this offense, they're going to start finding their identity and get things worked out. More power to you, man. More power to you. Because I want to have that. And I want to, like, how do I want to put this? logically, I'm there. Logically, it's like, it's early. We're only 2 weeks in. Let's let this sort out a little bit more. Kenny is still young, et cetera, et cetera. Logically, I'm there, but emotionally, it's like, I want to get there quick. I don't have that patience anymore. You know what I mean? The more I think about it, man, we should have patience. I'm starting to come to my senses right now. We should have patience because we can win games these next 2 weeks, even if the offense doesn't go crazy, right? Even if the offense doesn't have Pate throwing for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, whatnot. If we could take care of the ball and low key get back to what we were doing at the end of 2022, run the ball, et cetera, we can win game. We could be at 3-1. But again, this comes down to, are we going to be able to be more explosive when we need to down the stretch? And that's the question. I think that's what we're trying to figure out right now. The good news is it is early. It is early. We do want to run the ball. We want to get back to Steeler football and whatnot, but we do need balance in the passing game. Like, we're going to need that. We're going to need to know that we could put up some passing yards with the best of it. And I think Kenny's capable of that. Now, the question is, do we got the schemes? Do we got the play calls? Do we got the flow needed to do stuff like that? And we don't have answers. We have, like, I want answers. I wanted to come on this stream today and like give you answers. I had them last night. I was like, fire Canada, but after I rewatched the game today, it wasn't all on him. But again, he's been the constant for a lot of these lackluster offensive performances over the last like 2-3 years. So if things don't change over the next like 5-6 weeks, then I think his seat gets hotter and hotter. I don't know if Tomlin's going to do anything, though. That's why, in a way, going back to what I said at the beginning, it feels hopeless at times. Feel a little hopeless. But all right, man. Shout out to you guys for being here. It's weird because I'm like venting. We won. We won. We won the game. It's a victory Monday. Why doesn't it feel like one, though? It's tough. It's tough. I feel like I'm going to go for a walk after I end this. I'm going to look at maybe rewatch the game again. Look at some positive stats, try to look up some positive things about the Steelers. And then I feel like I'll be in a better place tomorrow for the podcast. I think I'll be in a better place. But ultimately, Kenny wasn't as bad as people are making it seem. The offensive line needs to improve. Shout out to the defense. We got to improve the run game for sure. And my questions on Canada are definitely becoming more numerous, I guess you could say. I'm having more and more questions about Canada. I think his seat should be getting hotter for sure. But that's it, man. Big shout out to you guys for stopping by, chopping it up with me. And then I will see you. Actually, no, I will be back here tomorrow. I will be back here. So maybe I have a different tune. Maybe I have some different takes. Maybe I have a different outlook. But we'll find out then. Stay chilling, everyone. Here we go, Steelers, and peace.